Police! Stay where you are! Stay where you are!
Tonight on CrimeFighters, police target drug pushers and prostitutes.
Put your top back on.
You trying my patience?
Evidence has been gathered. It's what's giving us the reason to be targeting the addresses this morning under the Antisocial Behaviour Act. You'll be going in on warrant under the Misuse of Drugs Act. 5 addresses
It's
on
7
phase
a.m.
one.
in the heart of Leeds.
Moving
The
on
latest
then, rolling
crackdown
on
on the
to
city's
6
drug
further
dens
addresses
is underway.
in phase 2. We're looking to shut these addresses down. We are concerned with drugs paraphernalia, evidence that drugs are connected with the premises. However, looking particularly for evidence of drugs use and misuse. If we can have that photograph, please. Any prisoners that you arrest this morning will be drugs tested with a view to getting any of these chaotic drugs users into treatment. If we do that with one individual, that will be a great success. But the minor amounts of cannabis, etc., found within dwelling houses, please arrest. OK? Positive arrest policy. Let's arrest, get them down to the Bridewell, please.
This is the first of 11 homes being targeted this morning. To stop people destroying any evidence, the element of surprise is crucial.
Police!
Hey! There we are!
You've been detained for the purpose of a drug search, you understand that, don't you? Not only is it a drugs warrant, but it's a crack house closure. You're going to be evicted from the premises. Obviously, you're going to be strip searched, OK? For some time, we've suspected the dealing of Class A drugs from these premises. Intelligence has come through regularly and frequently at this address. We've found some drugs paraphernalia in the house. It's some silver foil and they've clearly been using heroin. So the male occupant's admitted that's his and he's admitted possession of heroin. So he's been arrested.
The woman was also arrested for drug offences. Both were taken for questioning, but no charges were brought. The evidence gathered in the search led the courts to evict the couple from their home and close the premises down, and they won't be able to return to the house for up to 6 months. Holbeck has a history of drug use. For people that live here, it blights everyday life. This morning's raids are part of a week-long operation to clean up the area and tackle the problem head-on. Police are acting on intelligence gathered from local residents.
It's in direct response to complaints from members of the public, complaints from people living nearby these premises that are being used for the use and supply of controlled drugs. And we're talking about Class A drugs here. We're not talking about cannabis. We're talking about heroin or crack cocaine or cocaine. They're the types of drugs that we're talking about.
Residents are also concerned about the kind of people who come into the area to buy drugs.
There's an increase in criminality in the area, an increase in crime. So, you know, potentially there's more offences of houses being broken into, of cars being broken into. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to clear up a little bit. We're trying to make people who live here feel better about their environment.
Warrants have been issued at the next address before. It's home to a known drug addict and dealer. Police hope to secure enough evidence this time to close the house down for good.
Police! Stay where you are!
It's a warrant under Misuse of Drugs Act, okay? Anything that's going to harm my colleagues, needles. 23618 were inside.
At the minute it's too small to search while they're in there, so we've placed all the occupants in the van. And once we've done that, if we find anything, then they'll be arrested if there's any drugs inside the premises. And then once we've finished, we've got a closure notice to serve on the occupant under the Antisocial Behaviour Order Act, and that'll go to court in the morning.
Basically, some crack cocaine inside it, burn it and inhale it. This is what they run crack cocaine on, run the lines off of it. Must have a line. Obviously needles, citric acid, which they used to burn with the heroin. Strap for their arm to get the veins.
A specially trained police dog is used to sniff for drugs. It doesn't find any. Officers must search inside the house with care in case they find any dirty needles lying around.
Just putting these in a safe container so nobody gets injured. There's blood over the floor, on the walls, toilet. There's obviously needles everywhere. In the bed, so he's been sleeping in the bed of needles. You just got to be looking everywhere, really. Personal safety at all times.
No charges were brought against the man. Once the house was searched, it was boarded up and a closure notice served. It is one of 40 drug dens that West Yorkshire Police have closed down since April under new crack house legislation.
It's a fantastic piece of legislation under the Antisocial Behaviour Act. It means that we can actually close their premises down for anything between 3 to 6 months. Puts a stranglehold on that dealer and makes it very difficult for them to set up again. What we're doing is we're cutting off their customers because what they have by dealing in an area that they've very often grown up in, are very familiar with and are trusted, they have an established customer base. And if we can close them down and take them out of the actual area to live elsewhere, it's very difficult for them then to establish a new customer base until they get to know people in the area. Bathroom clear! Everybody done cellar?
It's blocked off.
Is it?
Yeah. No one in, boys?
Yeah, okay.
With no one in at the property, police move in and begin the search.
Right, Keno, do you want to start on the first floor and just work his way down? Yeah. I'll keep an eye on outside.
A couple of names of local prostitutes just written down there for some reason. Don't think.
They quickly find evidence of drug taking.
Yeah, that's...
This is just a lot of drugs paraphernalia. What they'll do, they'll obviously use this bit of cardboard as like a mini little preparation station, and obviously a lot of lighters as well, or just usual regular drugs paraphernalia. Residues on the tin foil, it's where they burn it off. So that could be the heroin where they burnt it off and then they've inhaled it. Obviously working as prostitutes to fund the habit as well.
The man returns home and DS Bray explains what's happening.
We're executing a warrant issued under the Misuse of Drugs Act at these premises, okay? What we're doing now is we're closing the premises, okay? Under Part 1, Section 1 of the Antisocial Behaviour Act 2003, under what's commonly known as crack house legislation, these premises have been used for the supply or for the use of Class A controlled drugs, and they are linked with antisocial behaviour or disorder in the area. Because of that, okay, the superintendent has authorised that these premises be closed. We're on the premises now gathering evidence to say that there is Class A drugs use on the premises. I just caution you now you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you fail to mention when questioned, something which you later rely on in court, and anything you do say may be given evidence, okay? Because of the drugs paraphernalia that we found on the premises, I'm now placing you under arrest for possession of Class A controlled drugs. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. You take him upstairs to Rob and strip search him for his floor bedroom and get that out at way.
Just trying to find different places to hide it really for them. It's quite obvious really, floorboards, especially if there's no carpet down. It's quite obvious to see, but you never know, that possibly could be here. And there'll be like small traces on there.
There was quite a lot of evidence of drugs misuse and an awful lot of silver foil, which has clearly been used for the inhalation of heroin, and that was found both on the first floor and quite a lot was found on the second floor. So there's clearly drugs misuse taking place on the premises. Our intelligence backed up with the seizures that has been found on the premises. It gives us a grounds to arrest him on suspicion of possession of controlled drugs. The search is still taking place, as you can hear, and hopefully we may find something else. He'll go down to Leeds Bridewell, which is the central police station in Leeds, where he'll be documented and taken to a cell, and he'll be given an interview in the fullness of time. Just keep your hands where we can see him, OK?
I've done a bit of it, I've done that chair.
We're just finishing searching the premises, OK? Once that's done, we're going to close the door. You're going to go down to the Bridewell where you'll be booked in. All right, and obviously you'll go to a cell and be interviewed in the fullness of time.
The man was not charged, but the house was successfully closed down under crack house law.
To be able to fit in. Slide in there.
Yeah, no worries. Very nice.
In all, 10 drug dens were put out of business by the operation, a major blow to the area's drug trade. 7 people were also arrested on drugs trafficking charges.
It's sending a message to the criminals: you want to come into Holbeck Division, you want to deal drugs, then we'll be there, we'll be waiting for you, and we'll deal with you. But also, it's going to give the people who are living and working in the area that reassurance that the police care, the police are here, and they're going to do something about it.
Coming up, the operation moves on to the night economy.
I know that you've been looking at prostitutes. You know that you've been looking at prostitutes. You're not going to admit that to me today, so I suggest you do not come back in this area again.
It's night time in the Holbeck area of Leeds, and officers from the CID project team are carrying out the second phase of an operation targeting drugs and prostitution. Police know the two go hand in hand, and so a joint crackdown is crucial.
There's 350 women that are engaged in prostitution at the moment, so they're all going to try and undercut each other. There's only a certain number of people who'll come down looking for sex and mental.
It is green.
And, a couple of years ago you might be 40, 50 quid. Now they're charging as little as a tenner, some of them, and that's how desperate they are for drugs. Most of the blokes that come down here who use prostitutes are married, and they'll always come out with an excuse: I got lost, I didn't know where I was. Very occasionally you do get honest people, and when you stop them they will tell you, look, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm desperate, I need sex, and that's why they've come down here. But most of them are married.
Holbeck Police have adopted a tough stance on curb crawling, leading the way nationally by using antisocial behaviour legislation and adopting a zero-tolerance policy towards offenders. PC's David McKean and Neil Bottomley are on the lookout for drivers acting suspiciously.
Basically just disturbed that lass getting into this bloke's car here. He's obviously seeing us and he's off. See what he has to say for himself.
What are we up to down there then?
I was on the phone.
You're on the phone?
Yeah, I was on the... She didn't approach me. She approached the car behind me. When I saw her coming, I drove off, man.
Right, she was approaching your vehicle?
No, she approached the car behind me.
Right, you got your driving licence on you?
No.
No identification whatsoever?
Nope.
Being on to police?
No.
Yeah, no?
Yeah, no.
Is that yes or no?
Well, not recently, no.
Can I come and sit in the back of my car? You've been stopped in the red light area before, haven't you?
I'm always getting stopped. Every time I see a police car, I get stopped.
Really? Do you want to tell us? Do you want me to tell you why we've stopped you?
Why? Go on.
It's because we've been sat around the corner watching your vehicle.
I was sat watching your vehicle, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that?
I thought you were some dodgy white guys. As per usual, round there. So I followed you, and then I sat down, had a phone call. Her with the legs ran up to the car behind me. You lot were parked by the cafe. I had a phone call. Then you lot come out.
Right.
You're dodgy looking, both of you.
There's an ongoing operation around that area, so I suggest you do not come back in this area again. I know that you've been looking at prostitutes. You know that you've been looking at prostitutes. You're not going to admit that to me today. I appreciate that.
I'm not going to admit it to you.
All right. So listen, don't be coming back in the area, all right? Or otherwise you're going to get locked up.
Well, how do I get to Beeston?
You go around the area. You don't stop in the area and wait for girls, do you? All right.
Oh,
I suggest you get yourself home, all right? Don't come back.
Why don't you go find some criminals instead of bothering good law-abiding people?
You seem like a good lad.
Yeah.
All right.
Good night.
Take care of yourself. We're basically just a bit unlucky there. I think we were observing another girl. We didn't see him at first. And just as we pulled out, because the other girl had walked off, we noticed a girl just about to go to his driver's door. Clearly, he was waiting for her and had stopped for her. But obviously, he'd seen our police vehicle as we pulled out, strayed off. Obviously, followed him, stopped him here. Usual tale that he's driving through Beeston, visiting friends when he's from obviously the other side of Leeds. But obviously, there wasn't probably enough evidence really there to arrest him for curb crawling at that time. And hopefully, next time we might get him in.
During the week-long operation, 8 people were issued with acceptable behaviour contracts. If they offend again, they could receive an ASBO, be disqualified from driving and even lose their car. But curb crawlers are just part of the problem. To really clean up the area, police need to target the pimps who control the girls.
A lot of the time, some of the girls have boyfriends who they live with. The boyfriend will act as a lookout, and then the other kind is the more sort of organised one. Who will have several girls that he'll be looking after. Basically, by taking these off the streets, we're hoping that we can get the girls off drugs, get them onto some sort of rehabilitation programme. The problem with these guys is it's in their interest to keep these girls on the streets, keep them on drugs, because obviously they're making money off the back of it. So if we can get them, target them as well, it helps the whole picture, helps to clean up the whole area really.
What's happening now?
Yeah, our detective sergeant and I think another officer have been watching a girl who appears that she's out up just by Quick Save here with a male who may be controlling or pimping her and just wants us to now to go and get him basically. So we're just going to have to look for him. Is this in here? That's in there at the end at the bottom in the white baseball cap. I'm just going to turn this down. That's in there, that's them two there.
Listen, you're under arrest on suspicion of controlling prostitution for gain. Okay.
Just take a seat in our car, fella. Have you got anything on you we need to know about first? Just give you a pat down, stand up, put your hands on the car. What are you got in here, fella?
Right.
Why?
What are you taking at the moment then? Heroin?
Yeah, I've started methadone soon.
Got a lot of citric acid on you, haven't you?
Yeah, it was just sites, isn't it, in my pocket, yeah.
That's right. Just take a seat in back. This fella's been stopped twice, 3 times in the last couple of nights. Both times he's been with different prostitutes. He's always lurking around in the background while they're working. DS Bray's just been round, seen the girl that he's been working with. She's been prostituting herself, been approached by somebody, didn't get anything, looked back towards him, shook her head, he's motioned at her to get back out there.
His girlfriend is offered treatment for her drug habit and gives a statement to police. They charge the man on suspicion of controlling prostitution, but the charges are later dropped.
Yeah.
As my girlfriend, know what I mean?
Well, that doesn't really make a lot of difference, unfortunately. A lot of them are girlfriends and boyfriends.
"25 other prostitutes are now receiving drug treatment. It's a crucial part of the operation's aim to tackle the root causes of the problem. But even with this success, there are still plenty of girls on the streets, and police have to work hard to catch them.
This vehicle is just the same as a marked unit. They can tell us just, exactly the same as a marked unit. So, and whereas we can, try and do observations on them, they'll see us straight away and do a runner basically. So we know there's loads of different locations around here which you just drive out to and park up and obviously perform the sexual act. That might take 10 seconds, an hour, depends on the fella. Yeah, it's just a case of going and checking these areas each time and seeing if we can drop on them that way. Oh, bingo! And there we go.
Tonight, it looks like they're in luck.
Where's my torch? She's gone.
Police! Put my clothes back on it.
Listen, can I just have my
Yeah, you can put your clothes back on if you want.
What you parked down here for? I'm going to tell me what you're up to.
No,
No, love, you're out west.
oh, we just like here, no money's exchanged or not. We were just talking and then when we arranged something. I ain't even been down here for like 6 months.
Put your top back on. When was the last time you were locked up?
God, I was locked up for drinking in the city a couple of times.
You got trousers on?
Drinking in the city. Stand there.
How much did it cost?
What?
How much did you pay her?
I haven't paid it up yet.
Right, how much was...
Well,
how much did she say?
she didn't in particular, really.
What's that? Is that a condom?
Yeah, obviously.
Is that yours?
To do with me. Loads of condoms around here. This is what
Yeah, go ahead.
You got condoms on you?
I am.
Is that yours then?
No, I love it.
Not a rent car?
It's not mine.
Is it yours then?
It must be.
Yeah.
Right then. You had any convictions for prostitution in the last year?
Not really, no. I'm sorry.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Not really?
No, I've been in the police house about 6 months ago, and about 2 weeks ago, for drunken disorderly.
Drunken disorderly.
But as for prostitution, I'll have to see her.
3517.
I mean, I was drinking a lot at the time. I can't even remember, love. I was that drunk half the time.
What we're going to give you is what's called a Home Office Street Caution.
Right.
And that I'm going to record it in my pocket now, but we're going to sit in the back of my car and I'll record all your details in my book. Just get you to sign it.
Okay.
And that means you'll have an official street caution. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Okay.
So you're entitled to 2 of them in the year.
Yeah.
And obviously after that, you're going to be arrested and go to court, all right?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
if we sort out that,
Yeah.
all right, I'll take some details off you in the back of my car and you sign my book. All right.
Okay.
But listen, no more of this, all right?
No.
Right. Because you've been stopped, you'll get a caution, all right? Because it's outraging public decency. That's it now, all right? So you'll get your sent off, all right?
Both the man and woman receive cautions. If either are caught again, they'll face charges. At the end of the week-long operation, the Holbeck team had made 68 arrests, 35 for prostitution, 3 for controlling prostitutes, and 5 for curb crawling.